From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
And good afternoon. Thanks for joining us on your MTN Statewide News. On this Monday, I'm Andrea Lutz. This afternoon in Montana, an Amber Alert search continues for a 6-month-old Flathead County baby. Lucas Warner from Columbia Falls, taken by his non-custodial father, Andrew Warner, and Haley Emerson. Andrew is reportedly bipolar and off his medication. Authorities want the public to watch out for a white early 2000s Chevy extended pickup with unknown plates. They're possibly headed to the Bob Marshall Wilderness, North Dakota, South Dakota, or Wyoming. If you do have any information, you're asked to call the Flathead County Sheriff's Office. There are 2 new deaths to report when it comes to Montana's fight against COVID-19. The virus has claimed the lives of 2 people in Yellowstone County. A 4th person has died from the virus in Flathead County. In all, state health officials are reporting 52 new cases across Montana. Cascade County is leading the state with 17 new cases. Just days into a new school year, kids in Shepherd will be staying home. The culprit, COVID-19. Classes are canceled for the next 2 days following a positive case. Schools will now undergo a deep cleaning, and the district planned to check out laptops to students in case a situation like this came up. However, now that will have to wait. The superintendent says teachers will contact students about their homework. A longtime member of the Cascade County Republicans is identified as the man who drowned in the Missouri River. 69-year-old Cleve Jeffrey Loney died Saturday. The sheriff says Loney and others were floating the river near Pelican Point. Loney's kayak tipped and he fell into the river. His body was later found by a fisherman. Crews continue to tackle a wildfire that broke out west of Bozeman near Norris Hot Springs. It's grown to over 1,000 acres. No injuries are reported and no structures threatened, but the fire is moving towards a landfill on the south side of Norris towards Ennis. Firefighters are tackling that fire from the west to try and keep it there. And in Yellowstone National Park, a wildfire continues to rage 3 miles south of Old Faithful. Lightning sparked this 300-acre fire. It's moving in the opposite direction of the geyser, but crews are protecting the area just in case. Lightning activity has been heavy in the park and fire danger is considered high. In Ravalli County, firefighters are battling the Cinnabar fire burning east of Stevensville. This fire is burning in the Rock Creek drainage in the Lolo National Forest, also started by lightning. While the fire is active in heavy beetle kill trees, the terrain is steep, presenting challenges for firefighters. No structures are threatened, though, at this time. And the 10,000-acre Bear Creek fire burning near Dillon in the Beaverhead Deer Ledge National Forest is now 60% contained. Crews plan to hold the fire lines where successful burnout operations took place over the weekend. That fire also started by lightning. All of these fires in Montana kicking up a lot of smoke in addition to some of the other smoke that we've been seeing and you've been tracking around the country.
That's for sure. It's all adding together and is causing some problems. Now, some of the areas of southwest Montana, obviously we're going to have smoke from the fires that are burning there. Also some special fire circumstances through Wyoming where the smoke has been much heavier there as well. So while we've got some smoke from localized fires, a lot of it's also coming our way from California. You can see that we're at least seeing some modest air quality problems across areas of southern Montana, but particularly in the southwest portion of the state. We'll continue to watch a lot of irritation. If you're at high risk, make sure you limit your activity, and we'll be looking at maybe some improvement in that as we get into the coming days. We'll talk more about that coming up in a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Ed. Back-to-back storms could strike the Gulf Coast. Marco is expected to make landfall today, Laura following in its path. Marco already killed 11 people in Haiti and the Dominican Republic. Storm preparations are now underway in Louisiana and Mississippi. Montana's tourism industry might not be seeing the complete pandemic devastation that we had feared. However, University of Montana researchers say it is still one of the worst tourism years in a decade. Even though campgrounds are still filling up and more out-of-state license plates are being seen in the state, sit-down restaurants are still hurting. But tourists could stick around into the fall.
I would anticipate, though, as we have folks around the country that are less likely to fly, they're driving distance is increasing a little bit and the willingness to drive is out there.
Another bright spot has been those visits to Yellowstone and Glacier National Parks, but another challenge is hiring seasonal workers for the parks. This morning's RNC delegates officially declared the renomination of President Donald Trump and Vice President Mike Pence for this year's election. Republicans kicked off their national convention in Charlotte, North Carolina and Washington, D.C. Like the Democrats, the GOP revamped the convention to keep people safe during the coronavirus pandemic. Skylar Henry has the latest.
President Trump headed to North Carolina this morning to meet with delegates, not long after Republicans opened their national convention in Charlotte.
This convention will come to order!
With the coronavirus pandemic limiting travel and activities, a maximum of 336 delegates are allowed on site, with the vast majority participating virtually.
That Alabama has unanimously cast its 50 delegates' votes for President Donald J. Trump.
Roll call of the states was one of the first orders of business to officially nominate President Trump and Vice President Mike Pence to run for a second term. While the GOP convention gets underway, the Trump administration announced presidential counselor Kellyanne Conway, who is set to speak at the convention, is stepping down at the end of this month to focus on her family. Conway was a campaign manager before transitioning to the White House. Her husband, George Conway, is also stepping down from his role with the anti-Trump Republican group, the Lincoln Project.
Kellyanne's going to be missed. America loves her. We certainly will miss her here at the White House.
Former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley will speak to delegates tonight. So will Mark and Patricia McCloskey, the Missouri couple who waved guns at protesters outside their mansion in June. President Trump is expected to appear every night, culminating with his acceptance speech on Thursday from the White House. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Washington.
Each convention attendee was told to get a negative COVID test before coming to Charlotte. The president is issuing an emergency authorization allowing blood plasma as a therapeutic treatment for COVID-19. The president accused the FDA of being slow to embrace convalescent plasma. However, some in the medical field say the effectiveness of the treatment isn't clear. Still more news to come on the Noon News. When the pandemic hit, food supply dwindled, as we know, but we'll show you how the kindness of one group delivering food to those in need has grown to help hundreds. And first, Ed is back in with a look at that statewide weather forecast.